imagine you're at your community pool with your family, your little sibling or your son or daughter, and you turn to look at your phone for just a second, and when you turn back, you don't see him anymore. You don't hear anybody yelling, you don't see any hands flying in the air, and you don't know what happened to him. That's how quick drowning can happen. You know, you don't even know it. Drowning is a silent killer. Everybody needs to know how to swim, whether you're an adult or whether you're a child, and you need to learn how to swim from as early as possible. I'm a swim instructor, and I see firsthand how important it is that people learn how to swim. Adults are a lot more scared of the water, so it's really good for children to start really, really young. As far as 18 months is when you should start learning how to swim. It's just smaller children are less fearful of the water because they don't really know how dangerous it is. And I promise if you try to learn as an adult, then you're going to be a lot more scared of the water. There's some very scary statistics about drowning. Most kids who drowned are under the age of 4, and they're toddlers who fall into water that's really too deep for them. They can drown in 2 inches of water in 2 minutes, says Jackie Wilson from CNN. Little kids really don't know how dangerous water can be. They don't know what's going to happen when they fall in. They don't know that they're going to start drowning. They don't know about it. Little kids will walk by a pool and see that there's like a toy in there and they really, really want it. And if they walk over to the edge, you know, bend down, pick it up, and then they just fall in, and then, you know, they drown. They're already drowning because they don't know how to swim. And that happens a lot, you know, and it's really scary. Supervision is really important if you're going to let your child swim, whether they know how to swim or whether they don't. You know, you always need to be careful of and aware of what's going on in the pool. You always need to be aware of how deep the water is. You know, you need to know about the surroundings of the environment that you're in, and you just need to know what your child's doing at all times. You should always be careful if you're going to let someone else watch your children or siblings swim, because you don't know, you know, how good they're watching or if their eyes are on them at all times. Especially at public pools, because 19% of drowning deaths happen in public pools with a certified lifeguard on duty. That's from the Drowning Prevention Foundation. So you really just don't need to depend on anybody else to supervise your children, because it could be dangerous either way. And if your children is not a strong swimmer, you should always have a flotation device on them, or even if, you know, they are a good swimmer, there should always be flotation devices around the pool. You know, noodles, life jackets, kickboards. You know, there's a number of things that you can do to make sure there's safety around your pools. The effects of drowning aren't worth the cost of it. You know, you never want to lose a family member or your child from doing something like that. An estimated 5,000 children from the ages 14 and under are hospitalized due to unintentional drowning related incidents. Each year, 15% die in the hospital and 20% suffer severe permanent neurological damage. That's from the National Safety Council. You can pay anyone to teach your kids how to swim, really. If you don't, you can teach them yourself. If you don't want to do that, you know, public pools, you can pay as much as $35 to have your children swim. And, you know, there's a ton of places that'll do that for you, you know, YMCA, you know, any public pool. I'm sure there's private homes that are somewhere local to you that will teach your kids how to swim. Fatal drowning remains the second leading cause of unintentional deaths for kids 1 to 14. That's from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. You know, people shouldn't just know how to swim for safety too. It's a really good tool, but you know, swimming is a really great exercise for people, you know, to keep you in shape, and it's just fun during the summer. You know, kids always go to swimming parties, and you don't want your child to be, you know, that one like socially awkward kid who just sits on the side because they don't know how to swim. And then, you know, kids peer pressure people, so you don't want them to get peer pressured into getting in and swimming, and then there become an incident. So it's just a really good tool that you can use all around to teach your kids how to swim. It's a really small price to pay so that you can save a life. I hope that the speech has informed you about drowning and about how important it is that everyone should learn how to swim, and I hope it becomes a priority for you, that if your children or your siblings don't know how to swim, that you will teach them how to swim. It's never too late to learn. Drowning is a silent killer, and it's really important that everybody knows that. Please.